Maybe we'll start with you, Mike, and then Michael, you can finish. What do you think it means to grieve well?
Don't forget to do the little things that you like to do. Whether that's talking with a friend or hanging out with your family or listen to music, whatever it is. Don't let it stop you to forget that the little joys in life are what they are, the little joys, and they can really help you get through loss for sure.
Thank you. That's a really good insight.
I totally agree with that. You can keep their memory, your love for them in your heart, but you need to be able to do all the things that Michael says. Enjoy it, do the things that you really want to do. Remember them, but just live a good life afterwards.
Thank you.
I think that's how you can honor them really well.
What do you think it means to grieve well?
Yeah, funny, well, not funny, but a curious thing is that every time that I edit an episode and I hear this question, I always think like, how would I respond to this? And I've never gotten the answer. So I'm going to have to give it to you now. I think that you have to let it go through you. Like, that's the most important part. Like, you can embrace the grief because it can be a very, very, very beautiful, concept or a very beautiful time, even though it's also the most painful time of your life. It depending on the one you lost, not even depending. Every time that you lose someone, it's going to be the most painful thing of the year, probably. Mm-hmm. But you can embrace it because something that happened to my dad was like, of course, my dad made mistakes, and of course that I have negative memories of him. But when I went through grief and when I started to missed him, and when I started to think about everything that he did for me, those kind of like bad memories just went away. I don't have bad memories about my dad. I just have the great memories, and I just know the man he was or the man he still is because his presence is still right here, and we all remember him with very much love and companionship. But in order to get to that point, you gotta let it go through you. You gotta be in there and understand that you're going through a process that needs to be. It needs to. It's not getting through it again. It's like it's a process. It's just a process that could maybe change your whole perspective on life. And I'm pretty sure that after he passed away, it brought me closer to understanding what a father is. I think that the next step is just like becoming a father. But now I understand every sacrifice. Now I understand everything that he did and the type of person that you need to be.
That is beautiful. Yeah. I love that. I love that idea.
What do you think it means to grieve well?
Oh, that's a good question. I think to grieve well means to understand that it's okay to grieve. It's good to grieve. That grief means love. And some people have a hard time acknowledging it's okay to feel grief, not because of a lack of love, but because they are struggling with, again, whether it be anger or guilt or shame. And while those are part of the grieving process, I think the goal is to eventually find peace. And I hope as people grieve, they can eventually find that peace. So that's what I think would be to grieve well for me, is that there are so many things we don't understand. And as hard as humans, we want to understand. We want to know. We want to be right. And as part of our nature, I do find solace and peace knowing there's a lot that I don't know, but there is that part that I cling to, that I will hold to that there is peace in grief, and there is peace in Heavenly Father's love for his children. And like you said, there are tribulations, there are trials, but knowing that we have help. And so that's, I guess, the last answer for that too, is that part of grieving well also means there's help. And we should, we need to reach out for help as we grieve. We're not meant to be individuals in life. We have family, we have community, and there's a reason for that. And that faith, that love, that support, that reaching out for help is part of the grieving well as well.
What do you think it means to grieve well?
It's a couple things. Like, I think grieving badly is when you make it final. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, when you can't handle it so much that you end your life. So I think grieving well is everything that's opposite of that. You know, like continuing to go on, finding things to fill the void of what you lost, you know, like taking who you are and moving forward with that, you know, finding ways to help others. Like I really find a lot of comfort in helping others, because then I get to know them and see what has happened to them and the trials that they've had. And that, because they open up, because they feel grateful that you helped them in some way. And then I see, yes, I can continue on. I can have strength, you know, because this person did it too, you know. And like allowing it to happen, just allowing grief to continue through your life, because it's always going to be there. There's always going to be something that triggers you that you won't be aware of and that you didn't think of and then you didn't set boundaries around. There's always going to be somebody that says something dumb, you know, and you can just like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You know, like, and there's always going to be somebody that has a suggestion of what you should do. And I think it's learning who you are and how to respond, and also memorizing responses, you know, like I had to realize if somebody's going to ask me, I'm going to respond to be honest, you know, but it is going to be their awkwardness that they're dealing with, because that's not going to be awkward for me. I'm more than happy to share, you know, but if you feel awkward, then you have learned from your lesson that you need to change how you talk to people. You know, you need to change how aware you are of people and how you have compassion. And I think that that's what grieving well is being able to be open to learn from it and take your time with it, you know, and to share it, I guess. So I'm grateful that you do this. And I'm so grateful for Seth and Chris, because they share too.
Yes.
And like, who I am hasn't changed because I'm not a mom. You know, I still have a mother heart, and I still like want to bless people. And like, I'm trying to start a business that helps turn lemons into lemonade, basically, you know, and because you can share it and pass it forward, you know. So yeah, I think it's when we hold everything inside and we lose that connection with others, that's when we aren't grieving well. That's when we're so full of anger and hurt that we can't connect with others. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we still have anger and hurt, because that's what grief is too. But
of course.
But sharing it, I think, is what is important, and being aware of it. Yeah.
What do you think it means to grieve well?
Is to love your messy self and to give your, you know, like I've said, give yourself compassion and be graceful to yourself, to be able to honor feeling awful and to honor yourself as you do. And there's no shame in how you're grieving. There's no right way, and who just allow yourself to kind of unfold and allow it to unfold the way it's supposed to. I think that's, and it's not going to be what you expect. So remove expectations. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's such the opposite message of trying to have a perfectly curated life.
Oh gosh, no.
and that doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect at it at all. And really, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Good Grief Believer podcast. I believe we grieve better when we share our experiences with others, and I am always eager to hear from other people about their unique grief journey. Please contact me if you would be willing to share your perspective with me as a guest on the Good Grief Believer podcast by emailing me at goodgriefbeliever@gmail.com. That's GOODGRIEFBELIEVER @gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you soon.